There I saw them. From across the world, I imagine they traveled here to do business with the simple folk. I couldn't muster restraint, nor could I believe my eyes when I saw my favorite tree of myth and legend. The dark oak tree is from a land far away, so as I've been told. Sprinting back to my lodgings, I tore open my boxy bank and grabbed a fist full of emeralds. Getting around their llamas was difficult, but my determination prevailed. Gunpowder, spruce trees, mine, I said audibly. The day had just begun, and that meant chores. I found that I became exceedingly efficient at harvesting crops. That's probably because a steady diet of wheat and beets helps the muscles grow. I sold the crops to a farmer, which made me back the money I feverishly spent buying the saplings. With the chores done, it was time to get down to business. Our next project was going to be a charcoal refinery. For this, we need a tree farm to reliably grow, maintain, and harvest without straying too far from the security of the village, that is. While in the forest, I found the spot I would want to plant my dark oak tree for future admirement. And then it was back to felling. Frantically flailing my axe. A charcoal production refinery needed something harder and stronger than any wood I could obtain. So it was to the village mine I went. I hardly missed the filth of this dark dungeon, but we needed stone. This mine can only provide so much, though. Some days, we can be lucky to find coal, and on very lucky days, iron. Upon my exodus, the village cat certainly mistook me for the crud monster. I hauled the stone to the selected build site and began work. The building was to be as simple as possible. I can't imagine why a coal refinery should be made to be beautiful. And it's not like the townspeople care. You should see what they choose for decorations. One coal factory built. With all the wood I get in town now, I decided to turn some of it into sticks to sell to our Fletcher, with the intent they can create arrows for my bow. Stick by stick and stack by stack, I sold it all. I got the feeling they were avoiding me after their promotion, however, so I hunted them down to their house, where they reluctantly showed me their new wares. Was right. I returned shortly after, and instead bought the crossbows they had made. All of them. Another promotion, and another opportunity to do the right thing. Still, to my frustration, no arrows. I proceeded to buy even more, dumping tons of capital into one place to finance this endeavor. Here, have more money, I said, tossing my gems in their direction. Arrows just seem to not be where their passion grows. And again, I find myself taking the fate of the village onto my shoulders. It was up to me to build a chicken farm. I carved a space just below the Fletcher, the most perfect place to raise chickens. I set out into the open land to select the lucky fowl with haste. Our town needs coal and iron, and I need arrows if we are to traverse the deep dark to obtain them. One chicken secured, and the next followed shortly after. With the seeds from town, I would feed them, and by my sword, harvest their feathers. But unfortunately, I was out of time. I was summoned to the other side of town where the toolsmith told me of our dire situation of our coal and iron reserves. We had none. It was clear. I must descend into the darkness and unlock its sustenance for our community. This time, there would be no running. I was prepared to set up a base of operations when I got down there. With enough food, building supplies, and weapons to defend myself, I became a one-man army, and the conquest of the underworld would begin with a leap of faith. Using the waterfall, I slowed my descent into the pit for what felt like an eternity. The ground, illuminated by distant lava falls, began to appear in view. Once I landed, I climbed to dry turf and got to work. The fear of being alone and being watched conflicted in my mind, and before I could blink, the latter of the two became apparent. Something was out there. I could hear its bones creak and twist from a place beyond my light. Charging into the dark, there it was, a shambling wretch who desperately needed to die a second time. I obliged. The cavern is an alien world closest to home. How could all of this exist right beneath our feet? A lost world to time and the sun had devoured me whole, and now I am witness to its masterpiece of madness. The passages were errant, simply not by design of intelligence, but had a mind of their own. Here I found exactly what we had been starving for. The raw building blocks of the civilized world were in abundance, along with its guardians. Heck that. If it's a war these monstrosities of darkness want, then I shall deliver a war right to their doorstep. I gathered my wits and my breath as I made my way deeper into the abyss. First thing will be to locate a zone of secure rock. Second will be illumination. And then I build.